Hey, what's up? I got some more lore content for you guys. With the introduction of formats to the game has been split between Standard and Eternal. If you don't know what this means, basically a lot of champions and other cards aren't playable in the Standard format anymore. For a full breakdown of this concept, I recommend checking out my recent rotation guide, along with my 3 Standard decks for beginners video. But, if you're a new player trying to get into the game, or a returning player that wants an easy deck to craft for Eternal, then this video is for you. I made 3 budget, easy to play, and powerful decks that are intuitive for new players to hop on and get that early lead over your opponents. These decks can be crafted using primarily commons and rares. There are a few epic cards to slot in, but I will talk about what to replace them with in the meantime. As per usual, each deck code will be in the description below along with the Mobalytics links. Before I get into the video, if you're new, please consider hitting the subscribe button to stay up to date with my content. I also stream on Twitch often, so check me out over there if you're looking for live gameplay, and also consider visiting my Patreon if I've helped you at all during your lore journey. With that, I hope you enjoy these beginner decks. And the usual disclaimer, you won't be able to build these decks as is day 1 or anything. These are simply decks to build early and work towards as a new player, while learning the fundamentals of the game. Most likely you will start with the default versions of these decks, and then use the resources you get to refine them to the final versions I have in this video. And to no one's surprise, we are starting off with Spiderburn. Spiderburn is one of my favorite decks. It's one that I cover quite often, as I think it is a very good deck for beginners to pick up and start learning aggressive strategies in Legends or Runeterra. So in case anyone doesn't know, Elise has been rotated out of Standard into Eternal, so the only way to play Spiderburn in any form is actually in the Eternal game mode. So if you want to play spiders, and that's like your favorite deck, then definitely give this a start, and then craft some other burn strategies for Standard, right? That way you have a good deck for each different format. So starting us off, we have Triple Legion Rearguard, another rotated card into Eternal. He's a 1-mana 3/2, very aggressively statted unit, amazing if you open multiple. Get him out of the hand as soon as possible and swinging into the opponent's face for insane damage in the early game. Next we have Legion Saboteur, 1-mana 2/1, on attack call, deal 1 extra damage to the enemy nexus. That's really nice, especially if you stack her up, have multiple Saboteurs, then you're dealing a bunch of extra damage and she goes a long way. Next we have Precious Pet, 1-mana 2/1, Fearsome. Fearsome says can only be blocked by enemies with 3 or more power, so it is actually kind of annoying to block this guy early. Precious Pet, comes down, gets some free damage in. Really nice, really pesky for the enemies to deal with, and he's a spider, which is important because we're playing around a tribal synergy. We have buffs for spiders, we have ways to level Elise with spiders, we swarm with spiders, all kinds of good stuff. So Spider Tag is super useful for this Precious Pet to have. Next we have Stygian Onlooker. Nightfall, give me 2/0 and Fearsome this round, as long as he's not played as the first card. Right, that's the Nightfall effect. He will get the bonus, so you do something and then Stygian, and then boom, you have a 4/1 Fearsome. Really scary unit, especially if you play multiple of these, like on attack 3 or attack 4 or attack 5. Whenever it is you're setting up for a really big wide push, Stygian comes down and gets a lot of damage in. Really, really scary unit. Next we have Arachnoid Horror, 2-mana 3/2, Fearsome Spider, just aggressively statted, has Fearsome, which is a great aggressive keyword, and also Spider Tag, so not much more to say about him. And we have our champion, the only champion in the deck, which makes this deck very cost efficient for new players. I think you start with 2 Elise as a beginner player in the Death and Spiders structure deck, so you can just transition that deck into this one. All you need is 3rd Elise, and you can honestly replace her with Darius, like maybe 1 or 2 of him, however many you start with, and you'll have a pretty good time playing this deck. It's not super champion reliant, so yeah, we just run Elise in the fully modernized version, and we're pretty much good to go. So she's a 2-mana 2/3, really strong body on turn 2 because she has Fearsome, so she's also pretty hard to block. On attack call, she will summon a free 1/1 Spiderling, so that's really nice. She just gives you another 1/1 body, so she's basically what, a 2-mana 3/4 on turn 2, split on 2 bodies. That's really good. And then level up, round start, you have 3 other spiders. So if you're able to swarm, get some spiders down, she will level up on round start, gaining 2 attack for her card. So she goes from a 2/3 to a 4/3, really aggressive. And she has Challenger, and then other spider allies also have Challenger and Fearsome, so you can manipulate some attacks, get some extra damage in. You can like grab the opponent's really big unit to one of your little spiderlings, and then you push maximum damage that way, and it's just really nice. Next we have House Spider, 2-mana 2/2. When I'm summon a Spiderling, so it's just another 2 bodies. Really good since they both have Spider Tag, helps level Elise, really nice for going wide to push damage on the opponent. Next, we have 2 Imperial Demolitionists, 2 mana 2/2. On play, I deal 1 to an ally to deal 2 to the enemy Nexus. So really good, just get some direct damage in, right? Whittle down the opponent over the course of the game, and then play Demolitionist as a way to try to finish. Really good there. Next, we have a new card, Pirouette, which is one of the strongest aggressive cards in the game. It's a 2 mana slow speed spell. Plunder, I cost 1 less. We're not really proccing Plunder in this deck unless we're doing something like Demolitionist first, or maybe like a Doom Beast play and then we use Pirouette later. But it's, for all intents and purposes, for the most part, it's going to be a 2 mana card. Deal 1 to anything and stun an enemy. Now this is really nice because we can deal 1 to the enemy Nexus for a little bit of damage, or we can deal 1 to like something that's blocked before and has 1 HP remaining to get rid of it, and then stun another unit. That way they basically lose 2 blockers for the price of our 1 card, and then we can continue setting up. We can lead the turn with Pirouette and then play our Nightfall Stygians, right? So that creates really, really cool combos. I love the idea of this new Spider Burn utilizing one of the new really strong cards from the standard format, Pirouette, and bringing it over to Eternal, where it might be able to flourish in this deck. Actually, there's a lot of good synergy. There are ways to proc the Plunder. There are, reasons to lead a turn with this and then play Stygians and Frenzied Skitters. So yeah, really, really cool inclusion in this deck. Next, we have double Doom Beast. On Nightfall, drain 2 from the enemy Nexus, so same effect as Stygian, just don't want to play this card first in the round, and then we get the effect. Drain 2 is nice because it deals 2 to the enemy, heals 2 for us, really good. Really solid effect for trying to close out the game. Next we have Frenzied Skitter, 3 mana 3/2, Fearsome, and also Spider Tag. When I'm summoned, give other spider allies +1/+0, so just 1 attack, and enemies -1. So now you can see why it's important to go wide with spiders, play a whole bunch of them, play all the different little bodies, and get really big buffs. It's because of Frenzied Skitter. When I'm summoned, give other spider allies 1/0, so you can get, +5 if you have 5 spiders next to Skitter. That's really nice. And you also give enemies -1, so it makes it harder for the enemies to block your fearsome spiders. So hey, that's just a do-all really strong card. Really, really good to have. One of the best cards, if not the best card in the deck, depending on how your board looks before you play him. Next, we have triple Noxian Fervor, one of our burn finishers. 3 mana, deal 3 to an ally and also 3 to anything. Most of the time, we're targeting the enemy Nexus with this directly to try to close out games. Can use this as a reaction to when the opponent tries to remove our stuff. With damage removal, we just respond with Fervor. That resolves first, dealing damage and putting us ahead. Next, we have triple Stalking Shadows burst speed spell. Pick a follower from your top 4 cards in your deck, draw it, place the rest into your deck, and create an ephemeral copy. So basically what this is saying is look at the top 4 cards, as long as they're units, right? And then you get to pick one and create 2 copies. One's real, one's ephemeral. So for the most part, we want to hit things like Doom Beast that have drain effects. We can hit Demolitionist, we can hit Frenzied Skitter, we can hit Stygian, all kinds of good stuff in the deck that we just want to have extra copies of. It's a pseudo draw, so it refills our hand when we're running low on resources and tries to push more damage. Just an overall really good kind of draw cycle card for aggro. And to round it out, we have triple Decimate. Of course, this card has been rotated out of standard. We can only play it in Eternal. 6 mana. They should probably revert the nerf, honestly. It used to be 5. It should be 5 mana again. Deal 4 to the enemy Nexus. Alright, sounds good. It's slow speed, so have to use it as a slow action. Can't use it during combat or anything, but it is a nice finisher for when the opponent is down to 4 HP. And that's it for the deck rundown. There are no real replacements for like epics or anything like that. This deck is just good to go as is. It is comprised of primarily commons and rares. There's not a single epic in here. The most expensive card will be your 3rd copy of Elise once you craft her. After that, I mean, it's pretty easy to get this deck going and then start having fun with it. It's very strong, it's very aggressive, and I think it's one of the great fundamental decks for learning synergies between, tribals like Spider and stuff like that, and also playing Nightfall. So it's not like super basic, it's got some nuance to it, and I think that's really great so that players can hop on and start learning some of the more intricate aspects of Legends of Runeterra. So yeah, that's it for the deck rundown. Now here's a live commentary game so you can see how it plays out. I'll be giving context of why I'm playing certain cards, and hopefully it gives you a good feel on how to play the deck. And for the example game, we have a once very strong combo, Lux Alawi. It's really cool to see that come out here. It's really scary. It's got removal, it's got big units, it's got easy ways to win the game, so we're gonna try to just push as hard and fast as we can and get some damage in. So let's go ahead and keep Legion Saboteur for attack turn 1, and we'll get rid of Demolitionist, Doom Beast. We could keep Stygian, but I'd really like to see, Elise or some other strong turn 2s. So we're going to mulligan our hand to reflect that and try to get as strong as we can, and we did. So we got the Elise, nice. play Saboteur on 1.
No one's the
They probably play
wiser.
Watchful Idol. Or nothing, which is good. Then we get 3 damage on turn 1. Bonk. Then we want to play one of our 2-drops on turn 2. And hopefully get another 1-drop in hand so we can play a 2-drop and 1-drop on 3. Double Decimate, good for closing out. We don't want any more burn. That's usually good enough. Answered Prayer looks good. That is a 2/2 Tentacle. I think I will play a defensive House Spider here. Or I play Elise and then commit to open attack. Because we do have to be careful of Tentacle Smash next turn. Tentacle Smash will kill our Elise, so if we want to keep her alive, we should probably just open on 3.
Come closer. I don't bite.
There may have to be a 1-drop here that I do play out. Stygian? Yeah, I think I do play it out. We could do House Spider Stygian, call it a day. If our Elise dies to Tentacle Smash, it's whatever. We kind of push a lot of damage by doing this. If we didn't open a 1-drop, I would have just attacked. Okay, that's good. So no Tentacle Smash means we're just full wide. So on attack call, we'll get the free Spiderling from Elise and have a full attacking board on turn 3. Look at that. Spiders are so easy to just swarm the board with. In just 3 turns, we have 6 attacking units for the opponent to deal with and 9 damage hitting face. You see that? That is absolutely crazy. And now they're dead to Double Decimate, which is currently in hand. So we got them down to dying to our hand, which is absolutely fantastic. Oh, Pirouette's so good here. Alawi, watch this. New card coming in clutch as well. Ready? Pirouette. Boom, deal 1 and stun. Oh my, it's just too crazy. One of the best cards in the game now, that Pirouette. Go ahead and do this. And then we full send it on open. We have Decimates for a couple turns when we get the mana to play them. Yeah, this is just a full send. Oh, triple Decimate. It's kind of over. This is way too insane. This is why I got rotated, by the way. Because homies just kind of die on turn 5 when you play spiders. Yep. Good game. Now the next deck I have for you is an updated version of Yasuo Leona. It is a deck that I've covered before in my 3 beginner-friendly decks series, but it's got some new toys to play with, you know, from the new expansion. I think the structure deck is called like Sun and Wind or something like that, and you start with 2 Yasuo and 2 Leona, so this should be a pretty easy deck to craft. There are some epics in this one. It is the Windswept Hillock, which we'll get to, and I'll mention maybe a replacement for now, but yeah, this deck is going to be a little bit more expensive than Spiders, as you need to craft 2 champions and also 3 epics. With that, let's get into the list. We are playing a combination of Yasuo and Leona, which means we want to have a combination of Daybreak cards and also stun cards and things like that, while also being pretty defensive. This is a really fun deck to play if you want to play a defensive stun strategy with a really crazy lockdown in the late game. We're starting with Solari Soldier as one of our 1-drops because it's Daybreak, which helps level our Leona over the course of the game. So 1 mana, 3/3 on Daybreak, which is really nice. A premium unit can use it to attack and defend and then just try to control the board. We want to be playing slow and reactive and defensive, so this unit basically does all that while also giving us a level up point for Leona, so just an auto include for sure. Next we have Faye Blade Twirler, 2 mana 1/3 quick attack. When you stun or recall a unit, grant me 2/0 permanently. So this is a really good unit to get down on turn 2 or just as early as possible and then sit on it. As you play the game out, you will stun, and also we don't really do any recalling, but primarily stunning, and then this card will amp up and be a reoccurring threat for the opponent, and also it's quick attack, so it gets to win combat once you resolve a couple stuns and get this thing nice and big. Next we have a new card, Falling Star, 2 mana slow speed, deal 4 to an enemy that attacked this round or is stunned. So it's kind of like Ravenous Flock in terms of power, but it's 1 more mana on the condition that it can actually deal 4 to something that attacked this turn. So like let's say you stun something and then you let something else hit you, you can like Falling Star both of them if you want, if you have 2 Falling Stars, or you can do a little bit of a combo with like Concussive Palm Falling Star or Sunhawk Falling Star. Just an overall really good card for the deck. It gives this archetype really cheap single target removal that it didn't have access to before. So yeah, it's absolutely premium and it's only a common. Really easy to craft if you enjoy this deck. Next we have 2 Nopify. Not much to be said about it. Stop a fast or slow spell that costs 3 or less. Really good at turning off some of the opponent's like early pressure tools, some of their early cards that they're going to use to either get ahead or put you behind. So just nice to have it a quick 2 of to tell the opponent no. We are in Ionia, so we do get to be the no region, so telling the opponent no is pretty strong. Next we have Shield Bearer, 2-mana 3/6 Daybreak, so it's another Daybreak card for Leona. Also, it's 6 HP on Daybreak, so really, really strong defensive card. It can block literally everything on turn 2 and still live to tell the tale. So yeah, we must run that. Sunhawk, 2-mana 2/3 Daybreak, stun the strongest enemy. So this is one of the cards that marries the concepts together of Yasuo and Leona, being a Daybreak card and also being a stun synergy card. So yeah, this is one of the natural synergies of the deck. Really awesome card in the early game, really awesome in the mid or late game once Yasuo and or Leona are already down and leveled, which makes this card just a reoccurring threat. It's really good on turn 2, and it never stops being good. Honestly, it's a great card even past like turn 7 onwards as a 2-drop. It retains its value, so yeah, this is one of the best cards in the deck for sure. 2 Solari Priestess, 3-mana 2/2 Daybreak Invoke. So Invoke is a pretty fun mechanic, especially for new players. I know I recommended Star Shaping in the Elites deck for the 3 standard decks for this reason. I think Invoke is really, really fun and enjoyable because Invoke basically gives you a pool of Celestial cards to pick from, and they're really strong. There's really strong removal in there, and there's also really good units, so they're just fun to play around. So like to have that at a quick 2 of. That way you can get a unit if your hand is kind of missing a unit, or you can get a removal spell if your hand is kind of weak on reactivity. So really nice flexible card. Yeah, there's a lot of merit, and it's also Daybreak, which helps Leona, so very nice. Next we have triple Concussive Palm, stun an enemy to also summon a 3/2 unit. This is premium stunning for Yasuo, and also you get a blocker. So yeah, just really good for the cost. It's 4 mana, do everything. 2 Deny, we are in Ionia, so we play Deny, best card. Stop a fast spell, slow spell, or skill. It's really strong. Use it against like pretty much anything the opponent's trying to do, especially their top end, like really strong slow speed game ending spells like Harrowing and stuff like that. Just say nah for 4 mana and call it a day. Triple Yasuo, our first champion. When you stun or recall an enemy, I deal 2 to it, so that's why you want to get Yasuo down and then start stunning, because he also counts as removal. He starts killing things. 5 stuns or recalls, and then he levels. When you stun or recall, I strike, so instead of dealing 2, he deals his attack worth of damage to units. That's really cool. Celestial Wander, 5 mana, stun 2 enemies for fast speed. That's really good. Just like the enemy open attacks, you say nah to 2 units, just put them back. Really good if you already have Yasuo developed as well, because then he'll strike or deal 2 damage to him. Leona, our other champion. Challenger, really good at contesting the board. Daybreak, stun the strongest enemy, so there's more synergy between Yasuo and Leona. Nice little stun. If you've activated Daybreak 4 times over the game, she'll level, and then also stun every time you Daybreak, so that's more synergy. Really, really nice. Alright, now we have Place Your Bets, 5 mana burst speed, draw 2 and create 2 coins. This is a new card from the new expansion, so alongside the Falling Star, we're also playing Place Your Bets in here. This is a premium draw card, it's 5 mana draw 2. You also get to create coins, which is basically you spend 1 mana to get however many coins you have back as real mana. You can use that for spells or you can use it for units, so it pays for itself, gives you a little coin with +2, so that's pretty cool. You get to play it, but if you stack coins by doing multiple Place Your Bets, the coins will definitely come up even more. But yeah, it's basically in here just for like cheap and efficient draw. Next we have Ravun, 5 mana 5/5. Daybreak, create a random Daybreak card in hand, so that's nice at refilling the resource, getting another one. You can use that if you get Sunhawk or something crazy, then obviously you have more stuns to play with. It's always day for us, so every card you play is Daybreak, not just the first one you play. That's really crazy if you have Leona and Ravun and Yasuo set up. The opponents just don't get to play the game. It's a really, really cool lockdown that happens because every time you Daybreak, you stun the strongest enemy, then Yasuo will strike it. If Ravun's on the board, that's more than once per turn, so you can also play another Daybreak, and then Leona will stun, and then Yasuo will strike, and then you play another Daybreak, and Leona will stun, and Yasuo strike, right? And that's a really, really fun late-game win con to play around. It's really enjoyable. And next to round out the list, we have the most important card in the deck, Windswept Hillock. When I'm summoned, draw Yasuo. So it's a really nice tutor. It draws Yasuo directly from deck to hand, giving you an extra one if you already have, or giving you your first one if you haven't seen him yet. So it's really good for consistency. When you gain the attack token, so every time it's your turn to attack, stun the strongest enemy. Obviously, that's really good since we're doing a lot of stunning. Yasuo strikes, and that sets up a little bit of our lock as well. Now, this is an epic. It is also a must run. It is the most important card for Yasuo as it both draws him and also has synergy, so definitely shell out 3 epics if you want to play this deck. If you do not have any epics yet, do not fret. You can always run more stun cards. Like you could play Steel Tempest, you could hard run that. You could hard run Facebreaker, especially since we have more coinage. You could run, you know, another Celestial Wonder and bump numbers in general with the deck that already, you know, has really good numbers. We can do like 3rd Celestial and 3rd Ravun and 3rd Nopify and just hold until we get the Windswept Hillock in the deck. But yeah, super important there. Definitely play with what works best for you until you can get the Windswept Hillock because it is a must run. And that's it for this deck rundown. Now here's a live commentary game so you can see how it plays out. Alright, for the example game, we have another Targon strategy. Much like ours, however, theirs is centered around Bard. And they got a couple champions in there, probably their favorites. So we're going to go ahead and pitch Nopify, because I think a lot of their stuff is burst speed. We can't really interact with it. And we can keep the rest of our hand. That way we can do Shield Bearer on 2, start getting our Leona going. We have Hillock already in hand. We have a stun card. So yeah, we're just going to play defensively and try to work towards our win con of leveling our champs. Sorry, Soldier, yep. We take 3 damage on 1. Not a super big deal. Another Hillock. Wow, we could have a really strong setup with the Yasuo later. I'm down to just play Shield Bearer this turn. Sunhawk, yeah, we get stunned. A little bit of a Daybreak versus Daybreak here. Ah, Falling Star. I might be able to use that later. Sun Guardian. Yeah, actually we're going to pass and let everything hit us. Then we can go ahead and block the 2-3. And then Falling Star, the Sun Guardian, because it attacked this turn. There we go. Kill that off before it gets any more crazy. Because this card amps up whenever they play a Daybreak. Pretty important to get rid of. Then on our turn 4, it's looking like a Solari Priestess. I'm down to get Written. I'm down to get Challenger. I'm down to get the Traveler and just invoke something else. All these are pretty good options. Written and Stars could hit a Yasuo, but we already have 2 Yasuo tutors in hand. We already have Leona, so I think Traveler is actually kind of fine. We can play that on turn 7. Warrior also works. It's a toss-up. I'm going to go with Traveler because it's a bit cheaper, and it can find us another resource later. I don't really see a reason for me to attack, because they could be on Pale Cascade and then win the combat, and that's really bad for us. So we're just going to hold our unit back as a blocker and not really threaten it by initiating combat. Deny. That's pretty good. Again, a lot of their stuff is burst speed, but we'll see. Leona.
I am the bulwark against darkness.
I'm pretty sure that's okay. Yeah, we can resolve that. And then we play Windswept Hillock because that will stun the Leona now and give us a Yasuo. Yeah, because this is when I'm summoned and also when you gain the attack token. So it's really nice to play it on defense turn. That way we get the stun right away. We get the Yasuo and then we get a stun round start. Yep. And we could probably get stunned again, punk. We could probably go ahead and just play the Yasuo.
I go where the road takes me.
And we want to start getting a nice defensive setup going, which we do have. Sunburst? Yeah, we have Deny for that. Beautiful. There shouldn't be a lot they can do. Just Deny is really, really annoying for them. And then we can send in Yasuo because he has quick attack. I'm not really scared of 3 mana here. Kind of hard to get Solari Soldier up to 5/5. So we can go ahead and send it. Bonk. Loping Telescope. Yeah, that's pretty okay. Not a big deal. They just get to create something. If they open attack, we have Celestial Wander. If they develop, we can do like slow speed stuns. Trickster. It's Leona, right? Like 100%. Because that will stun the Leona. We have a Leona as a blocker. However, we could also do Sunhawk and Wander, and then we just have like infinite stuns. I feel like that's better. Yeah. Saving the mana is really good so we can react. We'll play Leona on attack turn, maybe. Let's just go ahead and get this down because it's a Daybreak stun. We'll do that as first action. And then we have the mana to do other things.
I do all right.
We are definitely initiating our lockdown, though. Like, it's starting. You can see the early signs of our lockdown that we're going to have. Where the opponent just can't play. Shield Bolt. Grant an ally 1/1 and stun an enemy. I feel like that's completely fine. We don't have to do anything as a response. If I do a Windswept Hillock right now, it will stun the Trickster. We can block these. All right, we're great. Let's do this. It's a stun right now. And that will give us 2 stuns on round start, and it's just kind of over. We've created a defensive wall. Yeah, go ahead and attack. I'm just going to block.
Devotion to battle.
Block here, and we can block here. Our unit lives, so this is a good value trade for us. We take no damage, and it's about to get really crazy up in here. There's 1 stun, a little bit of damage.
I will follow this path until the end.
Level up, and then another stun. Then Yas kills it. Now we can play our Leona.
First light illuminates the land. To shine like the sun, you must burn like it.
Here we go. That's a stun from her effect. Kills that.
Glorious light rains down.
I do all right.
Yeah, this is pretty good. Celestial Impact, yo! Obliterate a unit or landmark. Okay, I didn't have deny for that. She just kind of died, but that's okay. We still have Yasuo. We can play a soldier to try to just push more attack pressure, and it floats us 3 mana, which is ideal. Honestly, we could send another one too, because I'm going into 9, floating 2. If I do that, that's plenty to do whatever I want, right? 9, floating 3. Does that make a difference? Not really. Yeah, let's play the other soldier as well. If Leona stayed on board, we would save Solari Soldier so that she could stun, but Leona's gone now. So we're just going to use these guys as attack pressure. Lower the opponent down, and then we have lots of stunning we can do next turn. And we have Ravun. And we save the Traveler so we can invoke maybe some top end stuff. Yeah. It's fine. Who are you going to grab? Grabbing my Yasuo? Okay. Celestial Wonder, that and that. And skip. That's all we need to do. We don't really need to steal Tempest the Esmus or do anything yet. We can just hold. Because the Esmus is not doing anything to us anyways. Hush. Oh, no strikes. Okay. Huh, they still get stunned at least. And then, I could invoke replacing a unit. I think that's worth. Meteor Shower, Falling Comet, Serpent. Let's get the Falling Comet.
I am more myself than ever.
A quick obliterate one thing might be useful. Okay, round start, Yasuo, double strike. That is lovely. Okay, so if we attack here, 4, 6, 8. We are threatening exact lethal because we got the attack pressure earlier. So I guess we can just send it. If we have to go into one more turn, then so be it. I'm not really scared of their hand. But if they have like a heal card, then they're going to stall a turn. But we do have exact lethal on the open attack threat, so might as well do it. Another Hush, no big deal. And we got it. Let's go. A little bit of a lockdown there with the Windswept Hillocks. The last deck I have for you is the most expensive of the 3, and it's also a very powerful and very prominent deck, especially in the most recent history. That's right, I'm talking about Jayce Lux. Really, really strong deck, really easy to play, and really easy to win with. So this is like a control mid-range style deck. It's focused around using removal while also leveling up Jayce and Lux over the course of the game, and then just having a really crazy top end amount of damage and resources and utility, and just a lot of damage. So starting off the list, we have 2 Thermo Beam. This card has been rotated into Eternal, so keep that in mind. It's flexible. It can use it as early removal or late removal, depending on how much mana you want to spend on it. It has synergy with Jayce and Lux because you can, use it for 6, and that's really good for both of them. Next, we have Forge Chief, 1 mana 2/1 that pays for itself on strike. Whenever it attacks or blocks, refill 1 spell mana. Obviously, if this strikes more than once, it's getting you insane value. So really, really good card to set up. Block with, attack with, all that good stuff. 2 Piltover and Tellstones. This card is 1 mana, generate one of these 3. Aftershock, most of the time because the damage is good, and also Landmark Destruction. Transmogulator, not so often. And Progress Day, sometimes if you really need the draw, but most of the time, it's going to be Aftershock. Next, we have triple Pharaoh's Financier. Play, manifest a 6-cost spell from your regions. PNZ and Demacia, really strong 6-cost spells since that is the main synergy of the deck. He's also a really good body to just put down early and block with. Mystic Shot, premium removal and or face damage if we need to send the quick 2 damage to the opponent's face for lethal. But yeah, really good removal. Next, we have Sharp Sight, a little bit of protection, especially for Lux. If you play Sharp Sight and maybe like a Mystic Shot and a single combat, she can level and give you a laser. Something to keep in mind is that Lux does not need to see you play a 6-cost spell. You're completely fine just playing 6 costs worth of spells and then getting her laser that way and her level that way. So Sharp Sight definitely helps, especially against other damage removal and stuff like that. Single combat, a little bit of a strike spell, really nice. We have Forge of Tomorrow. When I'm summoned, summon a Forge Worker, so you get a dude right away, and also when you play a 6-cost spell, destroy me and refill your spell mana. So you can play 2 6-cost spells on 6 is how this works, as long as you've floated, and that's really good for our combo. Really, really good. So we can play Forge on 3, and then like Jayce 4, Lux 5, 2 6-cost spells on 6, and you kind of win the game. It's absolutely insane. So yeah, hopefully we can pull off that combo, but it's really, really nasty. Next, we have Vanguard Sergeant, 3 mana 3/3 that gives us a 6-cost spell, so that's good synergy. And also, if we get some units on board, we can use this to win the game. If Jayce double casts this, it gives everything 6/6 while also giving you like 2 lasers, so yeah, it's a little bonkers. Jayce, our first champion. Play, grant me Quick Attack or Challenger. Most often Quick Attack, just use him to swing in the mid game. If you've played 2 6-cost spells over the course of the game, I level up, and then he double casts the first 6-cost spell that you play each round, and if Lux sees you double cast a 6-cost spell, that actually counts for 2 lasers for her, so that's where the combo comes in and is really, really nasty. He can also double cast like Shock Blast and stuff like that to deal 6 to the enemy nexus and 6 to a unit, so yeah, it's absolutely insane if you get him and or Lux resolved. He also creates an Acceleration Gate, which is a finisher card, really nice, especially when double casted. Lux, our other champion. I've seen you play 6 mana worth of spells. When I level up, create a final spark. So yeah, you can play multiple 2-cost spells, or you can just play a singular 6-cost spell and get that going. And then every time you play 6 mana worth of spells, you get another final spark, which is this. It's deal 4 to an enemy. If there's no enemies, you just shoot the enemy nexus for 4 directly. It's also an overwhelm spell, so it deals direct damage, so you can kind of use this as just like a lot of direct damage to the enemy nexus if they're playing a bunch of low HP units and winning the game that way. Really scary, really strong. Next, we have a couple assembly lines. So these are 6-cost spells that we're about to get into. We need these for the synergy to level Jayce and Lux and get our lasers and stuff going. So this is summon 2 dudes, really nice for blockers or attackers. Back to back, really good burst speed buff. Use this on open attack call to level Lux, and then you have a lot of stats that you're attacking with, which is really good for lowering the enemy HP and then using lasers to finish, or you can use it defensively against damage removal. Formula, 6 mana, draw 2, refill your spell mana. I have no idea how this is in the game. It's just absolutely bonkers for this deck. Can use it, refill your mana, can use another 6-cost spell, so it's basically like the same as the Forge of Tomorrow combo on turn 6. Next, we have Hexbliterator. Deal 6 to a unit. If it would die, obliterate it instead. This can be double casted. It's really good. It obliterates, so anything with Last Breath, any weapon, also just gone completely. It skips the graveyard, so it can't be summoned back via Harrowing or anything like that too. So really, really good single target removal. If double cast, it deals 12, which is like really extra, but if you really want something completely dead, then Jayce will make that happen. And to round out the list, we have Shock Blast, of course. Deal 3 to an enemy or the enemy nexus and 3 to another. Get to pick 2 things. Really good as removal or a finisher. Basically whatever you need at the time. And for the epic that can be slotted in, the main one that I've seen, and it is really good of course, is Champion Strength. Give allies 4/4 this round. If you have the attack token, give them Scout this round, otherwise Rally. If Jayce double casts this, you instantly win the game if it resolves. Like, I don't care, no ifs, ands, or buts. it's just game winning. So yeah, you could probably replace like a Shock Blast and the Hexploderator and just put in 2 Champ Strength for a little bit of top end, and you're good to go there. Until then though, you can definitely just run them at 3 each and spend the champion cards on the Jayce and the Lux and call it a day. But yeah, if you do have the epics, definitely slot in the double champion strength as well. You will be surprised and also very happy when you resolve this against the opponent. And that's it for this deck rundown. Now here's a live commentary game so you can see how it plays out. And for the example game, we have a bit of a creepy combo with Kayn and Viego. We are definitely going to keep Lux in our hand and the Hexploderator. We can probably get rid of the Tellstones and call it a day, right? Because I want to float the first 2 turns. That way we have 3 bank spell mana and just play the Sergeant on 3. They're probably also a slow style deck, so it should be okay if we both just play passive. And I want to get into my Lux win con as soon as possible. Byrith. Okay. A little bit of weapon synergy. That's interesting. Putting a weapon on Viego would be pretty scary. Tough weapon. Mm-hmm. Alright, that is okay by me. So let's go ahead and Sergeant.
Discipline and steel.
Removorn Soldier. Pass. Hey, don't you put that Pan of Pain on that soldier. That'd be kind of annoying for me to deal with. Don't do it. Oh no, they did it. They heard me. Formula. Oh wow, that is really good. Yeah, we can just block.
Them head on.
Bonk. And then we'll play Pharaoh's Financier and get Sputtering Song Spinner or Shock Blast. We have Formula, we have that. I think my hand's gonna be too full for Sputtering Song Spinner. Let's just grab the Shock Blast. Maybe we can use it like earlier, but like our hand's so full. Our hand is so incredibly full here. Vile Feast. Okay, let's single combat. We threaten this unit while also denying the Vile Feast from resolving, which I like a lot. And it's also perfect for our mana and getting a card out of our hand. This Vile Feast made things so much nicer. Sure. We still deal with the declunking, and now they're down 2 Vile Feast. Then we play Lux.
Everywhere I go, the light follows.
Lux is a beautiful setup here because they do not have enough mana for Vengeance. In case they're on 3rd Vile Feast or they're running something weird like... I don't know. There's a lot of things they could run that's weird. I'm not going to do it. I'm not swinging with Lux because Lux just dies to the soldier, right? I'm going to be a little suspicious of the opponent and just not attack with Lux. And then we can do some crazy stuff this turn. Like Formula plus Hexploderator. Kayn, yeah. So let's do Formula. First speed level Lux.
Pushing my limits.
Then we can also Hexploderator, Thermo Beam, Fortimacia, Assembly Line, Shock Blast. There's a lot of good options. I'm pretty down Hexploderator and just like obliterate this Kayn. What's really nice about it is they lose the weapon, so Kayn Scythe goes away. They can't just re-equip it onto something else. And then we're on double laser this turn. It's just such a crazy combo. Lux plus Formula plus another 6-cost spell right on 6. It's what a big swing. Big swing in terms of tempo. We have so much removal now. There we go, no more weapon. Attack if you want, go ahead. It'll make my job easier. That's it, huh? I have another Lux in hand. No, I'm just gonna take. Let's shoot this, and then we'll also shoot the weapon. We'll do this first, though, because I don't want them to re-equip the weapon. Yeah, there's Hate Spike. Aha! I knew something weird would happen. That's one of the things I was worried about, actually. That's why I didn't block either, because then I would die from Hate Spike. Go ahead and get rid of that. Challenger is kind of annoying. Like, actually. But I'm pretty sure we just send it, right? Or do we do assembly line? Let's do assembly line. Summon some dudes and get another final spark. Top deck Vengeance, yeah, okay. Good thing I didn't open attack then. I like getting the extra laser. That is pretty typical though. I kind of want to final spark the, okay, I'll pick this. I wanted to final spark the Husk, but they decided to pan the Spiderling. Play our Forge Chief. Oh wait, we can Thermo Beam. Ha ha ha. That way we get rid of Challenger Husk as well, because like Challenger Viego or Challenger anything is just really annoying for us. And then take 6 damage. Yeah, we are in a fantastic spot. We could just win through double Shock Blast if we wanted. Oh, triple Shock Blast even. That is quite a bit. Hydravine. Meet my friend, Shock Blast.
Very kind of you to grace us with your presence, milady.
Axel, shut up. We're working here.
Just block some damage. Pass. 9 floating 2. I mean, we just Shock Blast again for sure. And just send it. Top deck, Hate Spike. Well, unfortunately, that does not do that much for you. And that's how it's done. And that's it for this one. I wanted to cover Eternal decks because, to be honest, it's the easier format to get into at the moment with just how many cards have been rotated. I'd also advise testing out these Eternal decks to learn the game and use the knowledge to transition to Standard. I wanted to make sure that Eternal homies also felt included. Not only did I tackle fully beginner-friendly lists, but these are also really good for intermediate players coming back to the game and want something competitive to play in the Eternal format. I put a lot of thought into these decks, so I hope you enjoy them and get some wins. Please like and subscribe if you thought this video was informative or entertaining. It really helps me out. Also check out my Patreon and show me some love if I've helped you at all. It would really mean a lot since I put a lot of time and effort into my content. I'll be releasing more deck profiles, beginner guides, gameplay highlights, and meta reports in the near future. Thank you so much for watching and have a good one. Laters!